Well, still on 2019, and joining me now is the presidential candidate for the Liberation Movement, Dr. Kriz David. And well, I've been trying to look at this very good book you've put together. He calls this one Smart Government, the Preferred Future. The last I knew of Dr. David, you were practicing as a tax expert. So how did you decide to come into office with your article of faith, rule of law, and so many other things for the liberation movement?
Well, thank you, Suleiman. I'm not just a tax expert. I'm also a forensic expert.
Absolutely.
I'm also a financial expert. I'm also a leadership expert. I'm also a development economics and a futurist. I actually have my PhD in strategic leadership with specialization in leadership foresight. So everything about nation building I know about, and the various policies to put together to get Nigeria to become that preferred nation is what I've researched for the past 8 years. So smart government is that preferred future that has eluded Nigerians for the past 58 years. So what I have here is a promissory note to Nigerians that for the past 58 years, what we've had from these past leaders, I choose to call them vocational politicians, are promises that are not realizable.
Promises that are not realizable, but again, I'm trying for us to see what your party has for the people, because, well, you had Fatima Mohammed. She's so sure of her PDP candidate, Atiku Abubakar, and if your party is banking on getting into office to fixing all of this, because this is one, piece of document you've been able to put together to tell the Nigerians how, well some of these things can be effected. But going out there on the streets, even though the campaigns have not started, what's the vibe you get when you speak with the people from across the country, and how well have you gone around?
Well, the thing is that my running for presidency of Nigeria, I'm not going to be engaged in guesswork.
Okay.
These are tested models. The Dubai you see today is a product of smart government. The Singapore you see today is a product of smart government. The South Korea, the most innovative nation in the world today, is a product of smart government. These are the things I've put together, and this is what Nigeria needs. So my promise to Nigeria is, one, to shape the Nigerian dream. A nation that offers promise to our citizens. In Nigeria today, 4 out of every Nigerian woman wants to have a baby or a child outside the country, either in Canada or in the US. And when you ask them, they will tell you they want to secure the future of that child. What that means is that the future of Nigerians is not secured.
Those born here?
Yeah, it's not secured. And it is self-evident. In Nigeria today, life has become subservient. Human life is now endangered. You can be killed. Anyone can be killed without any repercussion. So smart government is to guarantee
Shouldn't
the
we
rights.
say some people and not anyone? If you make it look like everyone, it will seem as if...
Yeah, it's because you are in Lagos and you don't know what people are experiencing in Benue, Taraba.
Then it can be everyone.
Yeah, what I'm saying, because in no time, if this is not checked...
Because to some extent, we've seen some, achievement by the police. A case in point is just even the most recent of the chief who was killed by his cook, and you saw the record time with which the police detectives were able to apprehend and bring that man before the law. So I think we should say some cases, not everyone.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that if it's not checked, this will escalate. And it's a possibility that is staring us in our face.
So what's your blueprint for checking crimes and criminality?
Well, first of all, let's ask ourselves the question, what is exactly security all about? Security is intelligence, possessing superior intelligence over the criminals. Now, this insecurity challenge we have in Nigeria has two connotations. The first one is the conspiracy of the political elites. And there are verifiable evidence to validate these assertions. Then the second one is that the insecurity situation in Nigeria has now become a commercial opportunity for both the politicians and their cohorts in the military or in the security sector. So to check this, you need, as a neutral person, I'm going to be deploying smart technologies.
You won't be neutral there once you come in as head of government. You won't be neutral. So
because I'm neutral because I'm not part of the people that created this situation. I'm not part of the people that are benefiting.
You're already part of it.
I'm not part of the people that are currently benefiting from the insecurity challenges. That's why I'm saying that I'm a neutral person. And I'm coming with a lot of expertise to see how we can put this nation, make this nation secure again. How we can guarantee the lives of the Nigerian citizen. How we can guarantee that life, that right for every Nigerian to pursue happiness in whatever endeavor he has chosen to pursue in life. How every Nigerian can realize their potentials, excel in their goals, and flourish in their enterprise. That is what I'm bringing on board. So the first thing that you see in the smart government scorecard is what we call the Article of Faith. The Article of Faith captures 7 virtues that underscore the prosperity of every nation. So the great nations that we talk about, the prosperous nations that we talk about, there are 7 virtues that they espouse. And that is what the Article of Faith that I'm recommending in the first step in smart government. That is what I'm going to be offering Nigerians, those 7 virtues. Then you talk about rule of law. In my government, by 15th of December 2019, I'm going to be offering Nigerians the People's Constitution. They need the opportunity for Nigerians to actually couch and write their constitution. The shared values that they have, the basis for which they are going to live together. That is a promise that I'm offering Nigerians. Then the third thing is about offering Nigerians what I call economic freedom. And what you ask yourself is, what is the business of government? In Nigeria today, our vocational politicians think the construction of roads and bridges, awarding of contracts, appointments into what they call juicy positions is the business of government. That's why we are trapped in this endless cycle of failure, because that is not the business of government. And in these nations that I have researched for the past 8 years, you see how they bring out innovative policies to ensure that their citizens progress in the path of prosperity. And that is exactly the promise that I'm offering Nigerians. So you look at, in your vicinity, you have that plumber that has been there. You have that vulcanizer that has been there for ages. His life has not improved. His condition has not improved. Why? Because there are no policies to integrate them into the larger society. So the smart government agenda is an all-inclusive government to bring everyone into the government to enjoy And you can only achieve this by bringing innovative policies. For instance, creating an innovative insurance product will bring all these artisans.
I'd like to let you go on and on because in all honesty, we're trying to look at the liberation movement agenda, and which is what you've been doing. But again, it was only just earlier in the day, I had a conversation with a lot of other people, across social media, talking about Nigerians who are seeking to run for office in 2019. And you have your doctorate and you have written quite a number of books, and now with this smart government, the preferred future, shouldn't you have started to, with the grassroots, get to understand what exactly the people want in practice before you say you want to become president? And that takes me to my question. Are you seeking to run to win or run to be noticed?
Well, Suleiman, I'm not being driven by ambition. I am driven by the voice of liberation. Nigeria is under a siege. Nigeria is under a dire situation. In fact, Nigeria is under life support. Therefore, you don't need vocational politicians. You need people with various expertise. And I am the man that has all those expertise as a futurist, as a tax expert.
That's why I'm saying that you should have allowed the people to get to know you. Do you think the people, they already know that Dr. Kriz is the man with these, with this expertise, to run the affairs of, a new Nigeria that we all want?
Yes, I am the face of New Nigeria. And I have my structures across the 36 states and Federal Capital, Abuja. So we are well prepared. I'm just privileged to be leading a team of experts to bring about this liberation to Nigerians. So we are well prepared. We have researched the challenges that Nigerians, that have bedeviled Nigerians for the past 58 years. And if we allow these vocational politicians to continue, I'm telling you, in the next 50 years, we will come back here and we'll still be battling with the same challenges that we have faced, that for the past 58 years we have not been able to solve.
But because it will seem as if the local or the vocational politicians will still have their way, because they've always been there, and pretty much a handful of them started from grassroots. And if you look at it, even right here on the continent, you recall how Julius Malema started. And today, Julius Malema is not only a national figure, but an international figure known worldwide. So we're asking the young people who have chosen to run for office in 2019, shouldn't they have started, from their communities? Let the people understand that they understand what the problems are. Fix things around your community. Seek officers below the presidential office, and see how this leads them. You're quite young and you still have a good time to run. I'm asking this because it would seem as if a lot of people don't know liberation movement.
Well, that is not correct. We have structures across all the 36 states and Abuja.
And all the local governments area?
Yes, we have all our structures. In fact, for the past 1 year, that is what we've been doing. So we are well grounded.
You think 1 year is enough for this run?
See, Nigerians are tired. And we know their pains.
And you don't think,
they are yearning. They know they need liberation.
You don't think your party and some others are cashing on that tiredness of Nigerians to all come out and say we want to run, because they just realize that Nigerians are really tired, fatigued, and perhaps it just might, swing their way?
Well, Nigeria is in a precarious situation, and therefore you need people who understand how to solve these problems in no time. We've been engaged in guesswork for these 58 years. Now we need people that know exactly what to do, what policies that you introduce that will solve the problem, that will provide enduring and lasting solutions. So shaping the Nigerian dream and getting all Nigerians right progressively in the path of prosperity is our focus. And we are going to do that with this smart government that we have put together. So all the ideas, the Dubai that people want to go and spend their vacation, I know exactly what to do. I know exactly the policies to put in place, because Dubai is just a product of foresight. And smart government is a product of foresight that engages systems thinking to bring about innovative solutions to solving the peculiar challenges that face a nation and her people. And that is what we are bringing on board.
Why isn't anyone from amongst the new breed politicians thinking of collaboration, all coming together and joining forces so that we don't have, the country don't have divided votes on the day of election? It's just as if everyone wants to be president among the very young.
That is not correct. Now, let me tell you this. There are about 76 parties that have fielded candidates for the post of president, the president. But before the end of this week, you will only have about 8 to 9 candidates that are independent. That is the fact. And I'm the preferred candidate.
You really think you're the preferred candidate? Because
yes.
that was why I asked if you're running to win or running to be noticed. You know, if up till some weeks ago, some people don't know anything about liberation movement.
Well, there are
we have to face the fact. And if the market woman or the man in my village or in my locality here in Lagos decides to go cast his or her ballot, what will be that thing that will make them remember liberation movement?
Is our logo, the balloon. Everybody in Nigeria knows the party with the balloon. So your assertion that people don't know about liberation movement is not correct.
Because I've done my asking around my neighborhood and my locality, and in all honesty, it doesn't go beyond 5 political parties in all these numbers. Others, they know them by names, and sometimes some people have been, you know, really honest about some of these individuals who have come up to say they want to be president of Nigeria.
Yeah, I know, Suleiman, you live in a hybrid area in Lagos. So
I disappoint you. I live in shanties, and yes, I've been on this program to say I think the government of the day has abandoned people who live in localities as such, because I decided to stay amongst the people. And even those who are in Abuja as representatives have also not been able to look after the people, even when they do speak. So don't be deceived that I live in highbrow areas. So I asked these people, my same, you know, locals, I ask them questions of parties. Sometimes I come out and I ask them, I speak pidgin, and I ask them who you want to vote for. And they tell me about X, Y, Z and name political parties. None of them has ever said anything about liberation movement.
Well, Suleiman, we have the next 94 days or 93 days.
Okay, when the campaign is open.
Yeah, for everybody to know about liberation movement. Our footprints are all over the place. Once the campaign commences by Sunday, then liberation movement will be the only force to reckon with in Nigeria.
I really can't wait for Sunday to come, because the good thing is that everyone will have a voice on this show. We'll bring everyone, and I'll love to bring you back then so that we can actually start talking about the nitty-gritty of your move and what you choose to give to the people. Now, let's close on this. We have about 2 other things to look at. First, debate. If you were to come on a debate, you know, a presidential candidate's debate, would you be willing to do that, knowing full well, I know you're an academic, but a lot of politicians, they run away, not shy, they run away from debates. So who would you love to see on the day that you'll be having the presidential debate?
Well, Suleiman, I would like to meet all the presidential candidates.
Have you,
And
listened,
like I
have,
said,
have you listened to your fellow academic, Professor Mogalu?
I've listened to all of them. And I'm happy they're also listening to me now.
Absolutely.
And they know that I have the solutions to the quandaries that we find ourselves in Nigeria.
Better solution.
Yes. My solutions have been researched. I have researched models. Take a look of the corruption issues we have and look at my model for fighting corruption, the corruption-free models. That is a research model having researched the 10 least corrupt nations. But what we are doing today is we are just fighting a war that we don't even know how to start or to end it. And that's why we find that this fight against corruption has made so many lives of Nigerians miserable, including the lives of the people fighting corruption. So the models I'm bringing, the solutions I'm bringing are tested models. Dubai is a product of smart government. Singapore is a product of smart government. South Korea is a product of smart government. So I'm not coming for a guesswork, but to offer concrete solutions. And if we don't follow the genuine steps to adopting smart government in Nigeria, then we will be trapped in this failed state that we've seen ourselves.
Lastly, 2019 elections, who do you see winning?
I am the voice of liberation. I am the face of a new Nigeria. I am the preferred future.
Dr. Kriz David, many thanks for speaking with us on Political Stew.
Thank you for having me.
We have him back again on the show just after November 18th, pretty much to talk about from everyone and anyone who's really concerned about a better Nigeria. Political Stew will continue right online and join the conversation, and don't forget to download the mobile app from the Google Play Store. I'm Sulaiman. See you again.